You wake up one morning, reach for the alarm clock, and realize the numbers are blurred. You blink once, twice, 3 times. But the fog doesn't clear. You grab your phone, hold it at arm's length, then closer, then farther away again, searching for that sweet spot where the words finally make sense. And in that moment, something shifts inside you. A quiet fear settles in your chest. When did this happen? For most of us, the decline doesn't announce itself with fanfare. There's no dramatic moment, no clear line between before and after. Instead, it creeps in subtly, persistently, until one day you're squinting at the menu in a dimly lit restaurant, struggling to thread a needle, or worse, doubting whether it's safe to drive at night. And the most heartbreaking part, you might not even realize that many of the everyday habits you consider harmless are actively destroying your vision. I'm going to be honest with you. What I'm about to share isn't easy to hear, but it comes from decades of sitting across from patients who wished someone had told them sooner. This isn't just about medical facts and dry statistics. This is about your independence, your safety, your ability to see your grandchildren's faces clearly, to read the books you love, to maintain the life you've worked so hard to build. So let's talk about what's really happening inside your eyes after 60, and more importantly, what you can do about it right now. The quiet catastrophe, understanding why your eyes betray you after 60. Here's what most doctors won't take the time to explain. Your eyes are not simply getting old. What's happening is far more complex, and frankly more devastating than simple aging. Inside each of your eyes right now, there's a remarkable lens about the size of an M&M candy that's been working tirelessly since the day you were born. This lens is made of crystalline proteins, arranged in such precise, organized patterns that they allow light to pass through with almost perfect clarity. Think of it like looking through a freshly cleaned window on a spring morning. But here's where things get cruel. Unlike almost every other tissue in your body, the lens of your eye cannot shed old cells or regenerate damaged ones. Every protein molecule that was there when you were born is still there now. Over 60 years, these proteins have been bombarded by ultraviolet radiation, oxidative stress, and the normal chaos of metabolism. They begin to clump together like egg whites cooking in a pan. The formerly transparent lens becomes cloudy, yellowed, less flexible. This is why cataracts affect more than half of all Americans by age 80. Meanwhile, in the back of your eye, something equally insidious is occurring. Your retina, that paper-thin layer of light-sensitive cells, is dealing with its own crisis. The photoreceptor cells, which number around 120 million in each eye, begin dying off. There's no pain, no warning signal, they simply stop working. The macula, the tiny central part of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision, becomes increasingly vulnerable. Small deposits called drusen accumulate beneath it, like debris piling up under a foundation. Blood vessels may leak or grow abnormally. This is age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of severe vision loss in people over 60. And here's perhaps the most frightening part: glaucoma, the silent thief of sight. Your eye produces a clear fluid called aqueous humor that normally drains out through tiny channels. But these channels can become clogged or damaged. The fluid builds up, pressure increases, and that pressure slowly, methodically crushes the optic nerve, the million-fiber cable carrying visual information from your eye to your brain. By the time you notice vision loss from glaucoma, you may have already lost 40% of your nerve fibers. They never grow back. This is your reality after 60. But what makes it truly tragic is that so many of the habits we consider normal, harmless, even healthy, are actually accelerating this decline.
Habit 1. Living in dim light. Starving your eyes of what they need most.
I see this constantly. Patients come in telling me they've started preferring softer, dimmer lighting because bright lights hurt their eyes or give them headaches. It feels more comfortable, more relaxing, but here's what's actually happening. Your pupils are controlled by muscles that, like all muscles, weaken with age. In dim light, these muscles strain to dilate your pupils wider, trying desperately to gather enough photons for you to see. Meanwhile, your aging lens has become less transparent, blocking even more light. Your retinal cells, which need light energy to function, are essentially being starved. The result? Your brain has to work overtime to process the weak signals it receives. You experience eye strain, fatigue, headaches, which ironically makes you want even dimmer lighting, creating a vicious cycle. Worse, chronically dim lighting can actually accelerate retinal degeneration. Studies show that rod cells, which handle low-light vision, begin to malfunction and die when chronically understimulated. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires breaking a habit. You need significantly brighter lighting than you did at age 40. A 60-year-old needs roughly 3 times more light than a 20-year-old to see equally well. Install bright, full-spectrum LED bulbs. Use task lighting when reading. Stop trying to save energy by sitting in near darkness. Your vision is worth more than a few extra dollars on your electric bill. Habit 2. The blue light obsession. Protecting against the wrong enemy. Everyone's talking about blue light these days. You've probably been told to wear blue blocking glasses, especially at night, but here's what almost no one understands about blue light and aging eyes. Yes, excessive blue light exposure, particularly from screens late at night, can disrupt your circadian rhythm and interfere with sleep. But the bigger danger after 60 isn't blue light, it's the cumulative damage from all high-energy visible light, especially when your eyes lack proper protection. Here's the physiology. Blue and violet light have shorter wavelengths and higher energy than other visible light. When this energy hits your retina, it generates reactive oxygen species, essentially molecular bullets that punch holes in cell membranes, damage DNA, and destroy the mitochondria that power your cells. Your retina normally has antioxidant defenses to handle this. But after 60, these defenses weaken significantly. The real problem is that people focus obsessively on blue light from screens while ignoring the far more intense source sunlight. The blue light from your phone is roughly 1/100th the intensity of blue light exposure when you step outside on a bright day without sunglasses. Yet I see countless patients over 60 who religiously wear blue blocking glasses indoors but walk around outside without proper UV and high-energy visible light protection. You need polarized sunglasses that block 100% of UVA and UVB rays and filter high-energy visible light whenever you're outdoors during daylight hours. Not just on sunny days, cloudy days too. UV radiation penetrates clouds, and here's something that shocks people. UV exposure is cumulative and irreversible. The damage you do to your retina today is still there 20 years from now, slowly contributing to macular degeneration. Habit 3. The uncontrolled blood sugar roller coaster. This one breaks my heart because the destruction is so preventable. Yet so many people over 60 don't understand the connection between what they eat and what they see. Your retina has more blood vessels per unit of tissue than almost anywhere else in your body. These tiny capillaries, some just 5 micrometers in diameter, deliver oxygen and nutrients to your photoreceptor cells. When your blood sugar spikes after a meal high in refined carbohydrates, several things happen simultaneously, and all of them damage your vision. First, high glucose levels make the blood sticky and more viscous, reducing flow through those tiny capillaries. Second, glucose molecules attach to proteins in the blood vessel walls through a process called glycation, creating harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products. These agents make the vessel walls thick, rigid, and leaky. Third, high blood sugar triggers inflammation throughout the body, including the delicate tissues of your eyes. Over time, these repeated assaults cause diabetic retinopathy, even in people who don't have diagnosed diabetes. Prediabetes, which affects nearly half of adults over 60, is enough to cause significant damage. The blood vessels in your retina start leaking fluid and blood. New, abnormal blood vessels grow in desperate attempts to supply oxygen to starved tissues, but these new vessels are fragile and bleed easily. Scar tissue forms. In severe cases, the retina can detach entirely. And here's what most people don't realize. You can have significant diabetic retinal damage without noticing any vision changes. By the time you notice blurred vision, the damage is often severe and irreversible. The solution requires real lifestyle change, not just good intentions. You need to stabilize your blood sugar by eliminating refined carbohydrates, eating protein and healthy fats with every meal, and moving your body after eating. Get your hemoglobin A1C checked regularly. If it's above 5.7%, your eyes are already at risk. Habit N4. The dehydration epidemic. Dry eyes, dry life. Most people over 60 are chronically dehydrated and don't know it. The sense of thirst diminishes with age, and many deliberately limit fluid intake to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. But your eyes are paying the price. Your tears aren't just water. They're a complex mixture of water, oils, mucus and antibodies that coat and protect your cornea with every blink. The outermost layer is an oil film produced by meibomian glands in your eyelids, which prevents tear evaporation. The middle layer is the aqueous water component, produced by your lacrimal glands. The innermost layer is mucus that helps tears spread evenly across your eye. When you're dehydrated, tear production drops. The tears you do produce are lower quality, thicker, more viscous, less able to properly lubricate your eyes. The oil glands in your eyelids can become clogged. The result is chronic dry eye disease, which affects more than 30% of people over 60. But it's worse than discomfort. Dry eyes are more prone to infection, corneal abrasions, and inflammation. Chronic inflammation triggers a cascade of damage throughout the eye, potentially accelerating cataracts and macular degeneration. Your vision fluctuates throughout the day as your tear film becomes increasingly unstable. The fix seems simple: drink more water, but there's a catch. You need to address the root causes of tear dysfunction. Use a warm compress on your eyelids for 5–10 minutes daily to unclog the oil glands. Take omega-3 supplements or eat fatty fish regularly. Omega-3s improve the quality of the oil layer in your tears. Consider a humidifier in your bedroom. And yes, drink water throughout the day, not all at once, but steadily. Habit N5. The medication cascade, pills that steal your sight. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Many of the medications you're taking to protect your health are slowly destroying your vision, and your doctors may not have adequately explained the risks. Corticosteroids, commonly prescribed for arthritis, asthma, and inflammatory conditions, can accelerate cataract formation and increase intraocular pressure, leading to glaucoma. Antihistamines and many antidepressants reduce tear production, worsening dry eye disease. Some blood pressure medications can decrease blood flow to the optic nerve. Certain antibiotics can cause retinal toxicity with long-term use. But here's where it gets really complex. The interactions between multiple medications can compound these effects. Most people over 60 are taking 5 or more prescription drugs. Each drug has side effects. When combined, those side effects multiply in unpredictable ways, and your eyes often bear the brunt. I'm not suggesting you stop taking necessary medications that could be dangerous, but I am urging you to have an honest conversation with your doctor about the ocular side effects of every medication you take. Ask if there are alternatives with fewer eye-related risks. Request regular eye examinations to catch medication-related damage early, and please be honest with your eye doctor about every medication and supplement you're taking, including over-the-counter drugs. Habit 6. The sedentary sentence, sitting your way to blindness. The connection between physical inactivity and vision loss is one of the most underappreciated factors in eye health after 60. Let me explain the mechanism, because once you understand it, you'll never look at sitting the same way again. Your retina is one of the most metabolically active tissues in your entire body. Those photoreceptor cells are working constantly, converting light into electrical signals in a process that requires enormous amounts of energy. They're absolutely dependent on a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered by blood flow. When you sit for hours at a time, several things happen. Blood pressure drops in your legs, and blood pools there rather than circulating efficiently. Your heart doesn't need to work as hard, so cardiac output decreases. Blood flow to your eyes diminishes. Meanwhile, sitting increases inflammation throughout your body, damages blood vessel function, and promotes insulin resistance, all of which further compromise the delicate blood vessels in your eyes. Studies have shown that sedentary behavior is an independent risk factor for age-related macular degeneration, even after controlling for other factors like smoking, diet, and overall health. Just 3 hours of continuous sitting can impair vascular function enough to reduce retinal blood flow by 10–15%. The solution isn't to become a marathon runner. It's simpler than that. Never sit for more than 30 minutes without standing up and moving. Walk around. Do some gentle stretches. The movement doesn't have to be intense. Just consistent, regular, moderate exercise, like walking 30 minutes a day, can reduce the risk of developing wet macular degeneration by up to 70%. Habit 7. Ignoring the silent pressure. The glaucoma time bomb. I've had patients break down crying in my office when I explain that they have glaucoma and have already lost significant peripheral vision. But I didn't feel anything, they say. How could this happen without warning? This is the cruel reality of glaucoma. Elevated intraocular pressure, the primary risk factor, causes no pain in its most common form. As pressure slowly builds inside your eye, it compresses the optic nerve fibers at the point where they exit the eye to travel to your brain. These fibers die silently, and because your brain is remarkably good at filling in gaps, you don't notice the vision loss until it's substantial. Here's what makes this so insidious. Glaucoma steals your peripheral vision first. You retain your central vision, the part you use to read, recognize faces, and focus on specific objects, until the late stages. So you think you're fine. You pass vision tests that only check central acuity. Meanwhile, your field of vision is slowly shrinking, like looking through an ever-narrowing tunnel. The risk increases dramatically after 60. African Americans are at even higher risk, often developing glaucoma earlier and more aggressively. Family history matters. So does a history of eye injuries, high blood pressure, and diabetes. But here's the critical point. Glaucoma is one of the most preventable causes of blindness. If caught early, treatment can stop or significantly slow the progression. But you need to be screened regularly, not just a pressure check, but comprehensive testing, including visual field assessment and optic nerve imaging. If you're over 60 and haven't had your eye pressure checked in the last year, call an ophthalmologist tomorrow, not next month. Not when it's convenient. Tomorrow. The vision you save might be the difference between independence and disability in your later years. Habit 8. The inflammation fire. Chronic inflammation destroying from within. Most people think of inflammation as swelling after an injury, something acute and temporary. But chronic low-grade inflammation is different. It's a smoldering fire inside your body, slowly destroying tissues, and your eyes are particularly vulnerable. After 60, your immune system undergoes a phenomenon called inflammaging, a chronic low-level inflammatory state that persists even without infection or injury. This inflammation releases proteins called cytokines that damage blood vessels, promote oxidative stress, and accelerate tissue degeneration throughout your body. In your eyes, Chronic inflammation contributes to nearly every age-related condition: cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, dry eye disease, and diabetic retinopathy. The inflammation damages the endothelial cells lining your retinal blood vessels, making them leaky and dysfunctional. It promotes the formation of abnormal blood vessels in macular degeneration. It accelerates protein damage in your lens, speeding cataract formation. The primary drivers of chronic inflammation in people over 60 are largely within your control. Excess body fat, especially abdominal fat, which actively secretes inflammatory chemicals, diets high in refined carbohydrates and omega-6 fatty acids, chronic stress, poor sleep, and lack of physical activity. The anti-inflammatory lifestyle isn't complicated, but it requires commitment. Eat a diet rich in colorful vegetables, fatty fish, nuts, and olive oil. Minimize sugar, refined grains, and processed foods. Get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Manage stress through meditation, time in nature, or whatever works for you. Move your body daily. Habit 9. The screen time trap. Digital damage you can't ignore. You've probably heard about digital eye strain, but let me explain what's really happening when you stare at screens for hours every day, because it's more serious than temporary discomfort. When you look at a screen, several things change about your visual behavior. Your blink rate drops by 50–60%. Normally, you blink 15 to 20 times per minute, which spreads fresh tears across your cornea. When staring at a screen, that drops to 5 to 7 blinks per minute. Your eyes dry out. The tear film becomes unstable. Your cornea literally starts to suffer from lack of oxygen and nutrients. Simultaneously, your eyes are locked in a fixed focal distance, usually 18 to 24 inches from the screen. The ciliary muscles inside your eyes, which control lens focus, are held in constant contraction. After 60, these muscles are already weakening and less flexible. Forcing them to maintain prolonged contraction accelerates their decline, worsening presbyopia, the inability to focus on near objects. And here's something few people realize. The brightness contrast between your screen and surrounding environment causes your pupils to constantly adjust, forcing those aging pupillary muscles to work overtime. Over months and years, this chronic strain contributes to visual fatigue that doesn't resolve overnight. The solution requires discipline. Follow the 20-20-20 rule religiously. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This gives your ciliary muscles a break. Use artificial tears every hour when working on screen. Position your monitor slightly below eye level so your eyes are naturally more closed, reducing tear evaporation, and please, limit recreational screen time. Your eyes need rest. Habit 10. Neglecting the nutrient foundation, starving your eyes from within. This might be the most important habit of all because it addresses the fundamental biology of vision preservation. Your eyes require specific nutrients to function and repair themselves, and after 60, your body's ability to absorb and utilize these nutrients declines significantly. Meanwhile, the demand for these nutrients increases as oxidative damage accumulates. Let me break down the critical nutrients and what they do. Leucinians and xanthin are carotenoid pigments that concentrate in your macula, where they act as natural sunglasses, filtering harmful blue light and neutralizing free radicals. Studies show that higher levels of these nutrients can reduce the risk of advanced macular degeneration by 25%. But your body can't make them. You must get them from diet or supplements. Dark leafy greens, egg yolks, corn and orange peppers are rich sources, yet most people over 60 consume less than half the optimal amount. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, are structural components of retinal cell membranes and critical for maintaining healthy blood vessels and reducing inflammation. Research shows that people who consume omega-3 rich fish at least twice weekly have a 40–50% lower risk of macular degeneration. yet only about 10% of Americans meet this threshold. Vitamin C is essential for collagen production in your eye's structure and is a powerful antioxidant. Your retina has some of the highest concentrations of vitamin C in your body, but these levels decline with age. Vitamin E protects cell membranes from oxidative damage and works synergistically with vitamin C. Zinc is critical for transporting vitamin A from your liver to your retina and for the proper function of many enzymes involved in vision. Zinc deficiency is common in older adults and can accelerate macular degeneration. Most people get inadequate amounts of these nutrients from diet alone. Consider a high-quality eye supplement containing all of these in therapeutic doses, but choose wisely. Many products contain insufficient amounts or poorly absorbed forms. Your vision, your choice. I want to leave you with something important. Hope. Yes, your eyes change after 60. Yes, the risk of vision-threatening conditions increases. But the trajectory of your eye health isn't fixed or predetermined. Every single day, you make choices that either protect your vision or accelerate its decline. The habits I've described, living in dim light, ignoring blood sugar control, sitting too much, neglecting nutrition, these aren't minor inconveniences. They're the difference between maintaining functional, independent vision well into your 80s and 90s, or gradually losing your sight in your 60s and 70s. I've seen both outcomes countless times. I've watched patients who took these warnings seriously maintain crystal clear vision into their late 80s, and I've watched others ignore the signs until it was too late, losing their ability to drive, to read, to see their loved ones' faces clearly. The choice is yours. Start today. Schedule that eye exam you've been putting off. Brighten the lights in your home, put down the phone and go for a walk. Eat those dark leafy greens, drink more water, check your blood sugar. Your eyes have carried you faithfully for 6 decades. They deserve your protection now, because the view from your later years should be as clear and beautiful as the life you've lived to get there.